Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a Bengali spiritual teacher who founded Gaudiya Vaishnavism. He is believed by his devotees to be Krishna himself, who appeared in the form of his own devotee in order to teach the people of this world the process of Bhakti and how to attain the perfection of life. He is considered as the most merciful manifestation of Krishna. Chaitanya was the proponent for the Vaishnava school of Bhakti Yoga, based on Bhagavata, Purana and Bhagavad Gita, of various incarnations of Vishnu. He is revered as Krishna, popularized the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra and composed the 6 Astakam in Sanskrit. His followers, Gaudiya Vaishnavas, revere him as a Krishna with the mood and complexion of his source of inspiration Radha. Chaitanya is sometimes referred to by the names Gauranga Gaura due to his fair complexion, and Nimai due to his being born underneath a neem tree. There is no evidence, however, that he was born under a neem tree. He was very mischievous in his young days. His original name was Vishamba. He was a brilliant student and Nimai was his nickname. At an early age he became a scholar and opened a school. Life. Chaitanya means wisdom, Maha means great and Prabhu means Lord or Master, i.e. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna himself. He was born as the second son of Jagannath Mishra and his wife Sachi Devi, who lived in the town of Dakadakan, Srivhata, now Sylhet, Bangladesh. According to Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya was born on the full moon night of the 18th of February 1486, at the time of a lunar eclipse. His parents named him Vishvambara. His family roots are originally from Dakadakan, Sylhet, Srivhata. A number of stories also exist telling of Chaitanya's apparent attraction to the chanting and singing of Krishna's names from a very young age, but largely this was perceived as being secondary to his interest in acquiring knowledge and studying Sanskrit. When traveling to Gaya to perform the Shraddha ceremony for his departed father, Chaitanya met his guru, the ascetic Ishwara Puri, from whom he received initiation with the Gopala Krishna mantra. This meeting was to mark a significant change in Chaitanya's outlook, and upon his return to Bengal the local Vaishnavas, headed by Advaita Acharya, were stunned at his external sudden change of heart, and soon Chaitanya became the eminent leader of the Vaishnava group within Nadia. After leaving Bengal and receiving entrance into the sannyasa order by Keshava Bharati, Chaitanya journeyed throughout the length and breadth of India for several years, chanting the divine names of Krishna constantly. He spent the last 24 years of his life in Puri, Odisha, the great temple city of Jagannath. The Gajapati king, Prataparudra, regarded Chaitanya as Krishna's avatar and was an enthusiastic patron and devotee of Chaitanya's Sankirtan gatherings. It was during these years that Chaitanya is believed by his followers to have sunk deep into various divine love and performed pastimes of divine ecstasy. Hagiographies. There are numerous biographies available from the time giving details of Chaitanya's life, the most prominent ones being the Chaitanya Charitamrita of Krishnadasa Kavaraja, the earlier Chaitanya Bhagavata of Vrindavana Dasa, and the Chaitanya Mangala, written by Lokana Dasa. These works are in Bengali with some Sanskrit verses interspersed. In addition to these, there are other Sanskrit biographies composed by his contemporaries. Chief among them are the works Sri Chaitanya Charitamritam Mahakavyam by Kavi Karnapura and Sri Krishna.Chaitanya Charitamritam by Murari Gupta. Identity. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu united in himself two aspects, ecstatic devotee of Krishna and Krishna himself in inseparable union with Radha. According to the hagiographies of 16th-century authors, he exhibited his universal form identical to that of Krishna on a number of occasions, notably to Advaita Acharya and Nityananda Prabhu. Gaudiya Vaishnavas considers Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to be Lord Krishna himself, himself but appearing in covered form. The Gaudiya Vaishnava Bhakti Vinod Thakura have also found out the rare manuscript of Chaitanya Upanishad of the Atharvaveda section, which reveals the identity of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Teachings. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has left one written record in Sanskrit called Siksastakam. Chaitanya's epistemological, theological and ontological teachings are summarized as 10 roots or maxims. The statements of Amna are the chief proof. By these statements the following 10 topics are taught. Krishna is the supreme absolute truth. Krishna is endowed with all energies. Krishna is the ocean of rasa. The jivas are all separated parts of the Lord. In Ban state their jivas are under the influence of matter due to the tatastha nature. In the liberated state the jivas are free from the influence of matter due to the tatastha nature. The jivas and the material world are both different from and identical to the Lord. Pure devotion is the practice of the jivas. Pure love of Krishna is the ultimate goal. Krishna is the only lovable blessing to be received. Philosophy and tradition. Despite having been initiated in the Madhvacharya tradition and taking sannyasa from Shankara's tradition, Chaitanya's philosophy is sometimes regarded as a tradition of his own within the Vaishnava framework, having some marked differences with the practices and the theology of other followers of Madhvacharya. He took mantra upadesa from his Varapuri and sannyasa diksha from Keshava Bharati. Chaitanya is not known to have written anything himself except for a series of verses known as the Siksastaka, or 8 verses of instruction, which he had spoken and were recorded by one of his close colleagues. The 8 verses created by Chaitanya are considered to contain the complete philosophy of Gaudiya Vaishnavism in condensed form. Chaitanya requested a select few among his followers to systematically present the theology of Bhakti he had taught to them in their own writings. The 6 saints and theologians were Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Gopalabhatta Goswami, Raghunatha Bhatta Goswami, Raghunatha Dasi Goswami and Jiva Goswami, a nephew of brothers Rupa and Sanatana. These individuals were responsible for systematizing Gaudiya Vaishnava theology. Narottama Dasa, Srinivasa Acharya and Syamananda Pandit were among the stalwarts of the second generation of Gaudiya Vaishnavism. Having studied under Jiva Goswami, they were instrumental in propagating the teachings of the Goswamis throughout Bengal, Odisha and other regions of eastern India. Many among their associates, such as Ramakandra Kavraja and Ganga Narayan Chakravarti, were also eminent teachers in their own right. In the early 18th century, Kalashon Vijayalanka, a disciple of Chaitanya, made his preachings popular in Bengal. He travelled throughout India popularizing the gospel of anti-untouchability, social justice and mass education. He probably initiated Pankti Bhojan and Krishna Sankirtan in eastern part of Bengal. Several schools have been practicing it for hundreds of years. Gita Sri Chabi Bandyopadhyay and Radharani Devi are among many who achieved fame by singing kirtan. The Dalits in Bengal at the time neglected an underprivileged caste readily accepted his libertarian outlook and embraced the doctrine of Mahaprabhu. His disciples were known as Kalachandai Sampradaya, who inspired the people to eradicate illiteracy and casteism. Many consider Kalachon as the father of rationalism in East Bengal. The festival of Katuri, presided over by Janava Thakurani, the wife of Nityananda, was the first time the leaders of the various branches of Chaitanya's followers assembled together. Through such festivals, members of the loosely organized tradition became acquainted with other branches along with the respective theological and practical nuances. Around these times, the disciples and descendants of Nityananda and Advaita Acharya, headed by Virabhadra and Krishna Mishra respectively, started the family lineages to maintain the tradition. The Vamsa descending from Nityananda through his son Virabhadra forms the most prominent branch of the modern Gaudiya tradition, though descendants of Advaita, along with the descendants of many other associates of Chaitanya, maintain the following especially in the rural areas of Bengal. Gopala Guru Goswami, a young associate of Chaitanya and a follower of Vakrasvara Pandit, founded another branch based in Odisha. The writings of Gopala, along with those of his disciple Jnanakandra Goswami, have had substantial influence on the methods of internal worship in the tradition. For the very beginning of Chaitanya's Bhakti movement in Bengal, Haridasa Thakur and others Muslim or Hindu by birth were the participants. Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, the great sage of Dakshineswar, who lived in the 19th century, emphasized the Bhakti Marga of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, whom he referred to as Gauranga. This openness received a boost from Bhaktivinoda Thakur's broad-minded vision in the late 19th century and was institutionalized by Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati in his Gaudiya Matha in the 20th century. In the 20th century, the teachings of Chaitanya were brought to the West by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, a representative of the Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati branch of Chaitanya's tradition. Prabhupada founded his movement known as the International Society for Krishna Consciousness to spread Chaitanya's teachings throughout the world. Saraswati Gurus and Acharyas, members of the Goswami lineages and several other Hindu sects which revere Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, including devotees from the major Vaishnava holy places in Mathura district, West Bengal and Odisha, also established temples dedicated to Krishna and Chaitanya outside India in the closing decades of the 20th century. In the 21st century, Vaishnava Bhakti is now also being studied through the academic medium of Krishnology in a number of academic institutions. The Chaitanya concept in a nutshell. Sri Krishna is the only God and all prayers are for him. But he is full of love. If one wants to win him, one must love him, forget that he is the God. The first step in loving him is the devotion, but better is loving like a servant loving his master. But still better is loving him like a friend, and again much better is childlike love, and again much better loving like a couple loves each other. Discovery of birthplace Yogapith. In 1886, a leading Gaudiya Vaishnava reformer Bhaktivinoda Thakur attempted to retire from his government service and moved to Vrindavan to pursue his devotional life there. However, he saw a dream in which Chaitanya ordered him to go to Navadvip instead. After some difficulty, in 1887 Bhaktivinoda was transferred to Krishnanagar, a district centre 25 kilometers away from Navadvip, famous as the birthplace of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Despite poor health, Bhaktivinoda finally managed to start regularly visiting Navadvip to research places connected with Chaitanya. Soon he came to a conclusion that the site purported by the local Brahmanas to be Chaitanya's birthplace could not possibly be genuine. Determined to find the actual place of Chaitanya's pastimes but frustrated by the lack of reliable evidence and clues, one night he saw a mystical vision. By 10 o'clock the night was very dark and cloudy. Across the Ganges in a northern direction I suddenly saw a large building flooded with golden light. I asked Kamala if he could see the building and he said that he could. But my friend Karani Babu could see nothing. I was amazed. What could it be? In the morning I went back to the roof and looked carefully back across the Ganges. I saw that in the place where I had seen the building was a stand of palm trees. Inquiring about this area, I was told that it was the remains of Laxman Sen's fort at Balaldagi. Taking this as a clue, Bhaktivinoda conducted a thorough, painstaking investigation of the site, by consulting old geographical maps matched against scriptural and verbal accounts, and eventually came to a conclusion that the village of Balaldagi was formerly known as Mayapur, confirmed in Bhakti Ratnakara as the actual birth site of Chaitanya. He soon acquired a property in Surapi Kunj near Mayapur to oversee the temple construction at Yogapith, Chaitanya's birthplace. For this purpose he organized Vyasarjana Tozani and special festivals, as well as personal acquaintances, a massive and hugely successful fundraising effort among the people of Bengal and beyond. Noted Bengali journalist Sazir Kumar Ghosh commended Bhaktivinoda for the discovery and hailed him as the seventh Goswami, a reference to the six Goswamis, renowned medieval Gaudiya Vaishnava ascetics and close associates of Chaitanya who had authored many of the school's texts and discovered places of Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan. Cultural legacy. Chaitanya's influence on the cultural legacy in Bengal and Odisha has been significant, with many residents performing daily worship to him as an avatar of Krishna. Some attribute to him a renaissance in Bengal, different from the more well-known 19th-century Bengal Renaissance. Salamullah Khan, a noted Bangladeshi linguist, maintains 16th century is the time of Chaitanya Dev, and it is the beginning of modernism in Bengal. The concept of humanity that came into fruition is contemporaneous with that of Europe. Noted Bengali biographical film on Chaitanya, Nilashali Mahaprabhu, was directed by Kartik Chattopadhyay.